recording it. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Nisha, for joining me for this very short helping interview. So, the intention of this YouTube channel is to help people, particularly younger generation, to get more employable, more entrepreneurs. So it's more of a reflective journey of people like you who have faced through the different channels and through the life learned, and you want to give back to the people saying how they can get maximum of what they have got. Okay, that thing. The Nisha is a lecturer at a higher education institution in UK. And Nisha will tell something more about herself. Nisha, over to you. If you can share some interesting story of your ups and downs of life for
Yeah,
people
sure.
to see how they can be motivated to see. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sumesh, for having me as your guest for your YouTube channel. So just to give a brief journey about my career, I would say, and I think it's one of the prime examples where I tell everyone that I've got so many twists and turnings and changes in my career. So I think it might be, hopefully, it would motivate your viewers as well. So I did my medical microbiology as my graduation. And so coming from a science background, and then I did my master's in public administration as well. And those were from India.
Big jump.
Yes. The reason I shifted to public administration is because, those who are from India will understand we've got the civil service exam called IAS and IPS in India, which is one of the top, civil service examinations. So I appeared for those civil service examination. And then, one of the easy subjects I could pick for the exam was public administration, and science background would have been. So that's the reason I have like a science background and then an administrative background as well, or a public, background. And after that, so my first job I got into was as an admissions officer with a, with an Indian medical school, actually, so medical university there, which was unexpected. And that's I went to help out my friend with her interview, but I got the job instead. So that's another story on its own. So my first job itself was unexpected. And so when I joined as the as the admissions officer, that's when I slowly started speaking to clients, and building a personal rapport, and started slowly getting the taste of what is selling.
I just want to add here, I understand you have family background in entrepreneurship also.
Yes.
So we give a twist also for people to
exactly. So we have a family business. My dad set up his family, the food business back in Cochin in Kerala 30 years ago. And for me, seeing the inside and the ups and downs of running a business, I was like, I'm never going to get into business. I would rather go for a 9-to-5 job, So that was my mentality that time. And that's the reason I got into this job as well. So my dad has been, exporting from India to globally by God's grace. He's been doing it for the last 30 years.
How come, just conscious of the time also, we're targeting 50 minutes for people to view. So how come you end up into education and then UK as a country?
In the UK, yeah. So after after my first job, so then what happened is I got married and I came to the UK, and because I had that sales interest and taste, I started working with a Nestle and a Mars vending machine company here in the UK. And for a couple of years I worked there, and then I got into there I was promoted as the account manager. Then I worked with British Telecom as well. Then my kids were born. That's when the story slightly changed. I thought, let me just leave the 9-to-5 job, and then I set up my own business here in the UK in 2007. So for the last 16 years, I have been running the food business, importing from India into the UK. And as a passion, what I used to do on the side was just go to the schools and the universities and the exhibitions and give talks about my journey. and to inspire students that it's not necessarily that the subject you study in your school that you end up later on in your career, so just to inspire them, I used to like speak in the schools and the universities as well and sharing my journey. That's how I came across this university
I think
as
you
well.
mentioned very interesting thing, saying that how subjects we study in school and university not necessarily become the career. So that brings to, I think, very close to the next possible question, saying to getting, I will say the dual question. One is if you can reflect back your first job in UK, because I remember when I came to UK, I struggled for almost 2 months to get
Yeah.
my first job.
Okay.
Yeah, it was difficult. Somebody said you are overqualified. Somebody said you're not fit for this. But this happened. But I still
Yeah.
remember those are all journeys and ups and downs, because I wanted to change my career from teaching to other field, but couldn't go.
Yeah.
End up.
Yeah.
So tell us your first, UK job hunting. This could be kind of mentoring to others, how they can
Yeah.
get jobs in
Yeah. Yeah.
unknown
Yeah.
market.
For me, thankfully, my first job, I think within my first month in the UK, I got my first job. But, I know my students, they are really, because my students are all international students as well. So, they are from like Asian countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So they do say they are struggling. So for the younger generation, what I would say is when they are searching for their jobs, be confident that your skills and the knowledge and your experience in your home country, you can confidently tell your employer, because of the biggest challenge they have in their mind is that, oh, I don't have any experience in the UK.
Mhm.
That should not put you off. What I tell my students as well is your experience, your knowledge, your skills, it doesn't stay in the country where you're from. It is within you. You carry it with you into the UK. So it is your duty to show in the CV what your skills are and to convince the employer that I've got these skills and experience and this is a job I'm looking for. So if they don't have an experience, it doesn't matter.
What specific skills? Let's put this way: you are looking at a CV of the person, and then you're trying to interview the person. So, and the person has come from another country or another area, a different cultural background, and may not be
Yeah.
related to the industry. So, what particular skills, if you can exemplify some of the skills which you want to look
Yeah.
for those people, or
So basically, especially post pandemic,
Mhm.
all the recruiters I've heard from the recent study as well that they are all looking for these transferable skills,
Mhm.
which, we've got this hard skills, which is particularly for the job, and we've got the soft skills like communication skills as well.
So
So
leading
transferable skills.
communications, yeah, leading communications,
Exactly.
and then
It
sharing
can
your
be
thought.
it can be
Mhm.
teamwork, it can be leadership skills, it can be your communication skills, presentation skills. So
how
these
do
are the
I how
things.
do I show in interview that I've got those skills, and how do I show those in my CV? Like, it's difficult because these are, people say these are claims. You're claiming it.
Exactly.
So how do I demonstrate those skills as a potential candidate to the
So
employer?
in the CV and in the interview, there is something called a STAR technique,
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
any of your viewers are not aware. So
Yeah.
if you can Google and see what a STAR technique is, which is situation, task, analysis, and result. So that is what
Hmm.
you're looking for. So basically, you just will not write in your CV, you'll be writing, okay, I've got communication skills, but you will back it up with an example.
So
You will
you
back
you will
it up
you will
from
you will
your
imagine some, you can take some examples from your work, previous work
exactly
experience,
personal.
university, that become situations, and then you're saying T is task, so the task you did and what you A is achieve, A is what
Exactly. So when
achieve.
I was when I
Yeah.
was in my previous job, I was in charge of this project where I had
Uh-huh.
to, I know where I was a team leader and I was in charge of this, and we got this output. So this is how you will include your team working skills or your communication skills with an example and show that this is what I have. So it's just not saying that I've got teamwork or I've got leadership skills. That's not how you say. You will be showing it all with an example.
Demonstrates, it's very important, authenticity. I know from when I was my uni, I'm in India was, so we were grudging, we are remembering these skills, and then interview will ask prove it, and we are silent. So
Exactly.
there's nothing back there. So I think there's need of preparation indeed, and people need
Of
to prepare
course.
for interview, basically have some examples in mind which can, because stress and other things, example may not come in on the surface when you're actually talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. See, and the note of preparation, what I always highly, highly recommend, especially in this highly competitive job space, make sure your CV and your cover letter is as personalized and as specific as it can be. So
Yeah,
just don't
I
write
think
it.
it's a very pertinent question. And many time when I speak to many people, they said, I'm not getting shortlisted. I'm sending CV to you. So what should be essential elements of the CV? What should be in the
Exactly.
CV so I can be shortlisted? What do you think?
So, see, the main thing what I've seen is people, they just have like a generic CV, they apply for all the jobs. Okay. So they can be one kind, can have some interest in working in an education industry, let's say. It could somebody wants to work in a food industry. You will not have the same CV for both. You will personalize it according to the job description.
It
So
requires
what you do
time. You
is
need to
you will
spend some
look.
time for each job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You look at the company, you research about the company, and you look at the what are the things the company is asking for, what are the things in the job description that matches your profile, and put those skills in the CV, what the employer is asking for. Because these days they even search with the keywords on the computer. So if it matches with their job description, then your CV can be shortlisted. So
Hmm.
that's how even for the job searching as well.
These days even the governments are struggling with employability, particularly emerging markets. They have a lot of people unemployed and lack of entrepreneurship. So what message you want to give to those people? I mean, what will be done on the policy level or education level, you think, which can enhance employability? Because we are
So
producing number of people and they are not basically getting employed because of
no,
these.
no. I think recently there has been many issues like with with starting off with Brexit and then COVID and the company shutting down, and even if we see a huge influx of students coming in from countries like India, or they are providing like care visa these days, and students are coming in, people are coming in there, and then but still they don't have any proper jobs to do as well. So I think government is doing by encouraging students and younger generation coming into the UK, but the problem is here there is not enough companies they can work with, because they don't want to take these younger generations on board. So they should be more open to, again, taking them on board and providing opportunities and utilizing their transferable skills, and giving them opportunities with entrepreneurial as well. You need to keep networking a lot. You need to build your connections with similar business people in your field who you want to develop your business with, and develop your skills which you want to develop, if you want to develop a business.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I've seen many countries, they are modifying their education policies and things like that. But still, I think these answers are not coming. How we make
Hmm.
our capital increase, I mean, people who can be employed. So
Yeah.
if you are, for example, imagine you are in the part of policy making in education industry, what few things you will highlight to bring on the surface that how the teaching or the education should be modified or adapted so that
um
people are more employable, more entrepreneur.
More than education modifying, I think one of the issues I have seen personally working in the employability team is that the employers are quite worried about taking on international students because of their visa status. So one thing which I have already thought about is, we need to educate the employers that these are the visa status of the students, and this is, it's okay to take international students as well. So educating the employers as well, saying that, by maybe inviting them to the university and having a, I don't know, a boot camp or something like that. So that is something which I have personally felt the students are facing a rejection these days, because they just don't get jobs because they feel, oh, you are on a student
Very
visa,
sad,
so I won't
very
employ
sad.
you.
Okay, coming to the towards the end, look at say countries like India, Sri Lanka, maybe many in Nigeria, maybe African countries. Even those countries have percentage people employed as quite less, I will say, as compared to people who
Mhm.
are have degrees or have qualifications.
Hmm.
So what would you say to countries like India or Sri Lanka or Nigeria? What should be done in education or something else which can enhance employability or entrepreneur skills of the people?
Um, I know in the UK we have started introducing employability module as a separate one within the curriculum, But in India, I have studied in India as well. So I haven't, at least during my times, I haven't seen, teaching them or training them about employability. It's just theoretical knowledge over there. So I feel we should provide them with more case studies. We could include as these kind of examples and work experience and these kind of knowledge where you can, or workshops as well, where they can improve these the skills, the employability
Employability.
skills
So
within
embedding employability in the education system
curriculum.
itself might lead to people focusing, okay, I think it's the right choice, because then can even think of their career choice, because the employability, I'm studying, we remember I did my MBA from also India, 32 subjects module I studied. I still don't remember them because they teach everything. But the thing
Exactly.
is, I don't know what I'm going to become, a finance manager, marketing man. So,
Yeah.
because of lack of this knowledge of employable and employability skills, I think led to read
Yeah.
everything, know everything, and do nothing.
And where you could even guide them what their career could be, help them with their career planning.
Career
What are your
planning.
strengths and weaknesses? Help them analyze what are your strengths and weaknesses and build upon the strengths. And what I always say is you should make your strengths more stronger so
Yeah,
that you are a stronger candidate. And your weaknesses, you should see how you can develop on them, what courses you can say. So you need to help them analyze what are the skills they have and help them develop on that through an employability module.
very good, very good. I think we have reached to the end that. So I will say, uh, okay, of course, thank you to Nisha, and thank you for joining this. Nisha, you have the final thing for the people of yours over the world, beyond UK, uh, for employability, entrepreneurship, final message from you, what they should do.
What I would say is, if you are applying to any country, because one thing that the students face is they don't know how a UK CV looks like. So ask for help, connect with as many people as you can. Network. So that can definitely help you, whether you are in business, because you might meet somebody today, but it might be 2 years later that you might get a sale from them. So networking on LinkedIn and through your connections, just network. That's the biggest thing I would say, so that you can understand the market, what it is.
Great. Thank you very much, Nisha. Good to, and then thank you for joining today.